Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way they should go. And I wanted to be the one to do that training.
You were talking before the break about how, God did make a way for you. And I want you to give just some practical ways. What did the Lord do? How did he make a way for you to continue homeschooling and being able to be the one to disciple your kids?
Yes. Oh, it was very important for me to be able to homeschool for several reasons. One, and this I know is what you're all about, and your ministry is about, biblical worldview. I wanted that to be instilled in my children. Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way they should go. And I wanted to be the one to do that training. We can look around today. We can see that public school wants to train our child in some ways, but it's not necessarily God's way. So I wanted to be sure that I was the main influence in their lives and not peers or other teachers. I felt like it was a gold mine opportunity, that I had. The Bible says, you shall teach them diligently, this God's statutes, to your children, and shall talk about them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, when you rise up. Deuteronomy 6:7. That's all the time to me. It sounds like that's a lot of teaching and training. Yeah. And so I felt like this was something that was just, absolutely wanted to continue to do. And also, we could be finished by lunchtime. All of this time that we've been homeschooling, we can be finished and we can put the rest of the time on things like ballet or music or sports or foreign language or, playing outside or writing or whatever interest they had. So, and let me just interject this in, before homeschooling, before my children were born, we were married for 7 years and I was a public school teacher. So I had seen it from both sides and I knew that I wanted to homeschool. In fact, let me paint this picture for people that might not have been former teachers, and I also went to a public school growing up, so different back then. But let me paint a little picture for you. As a teacher, you're teaching to the slowest academically. You're taking a good chunk to deal with behavior issues. Everybody needs to get a turn. So that takes some time. You have to check, walk by and check everybody's work. They're all on track here. Bathroom breaks and everybody has to take a turn. Long lunch periods because, you all have to file through and get your food, get seated and have time to eat and get finished. So I knew that I could be finished if you take away all that, you can really get to the nitty gritty and get the same amount of work accomplished in a lesser time. So I knew that that's what I wanted to do. And I knew that God was going to help me. And practically what he did was he opened doors for me to be able to do that as I trusted him. Initially, I began to tutor. Our town has a huge Kia manufacturing plant. And I'd heard that the women, when the husbands were at work in the plant, the women wanted to learn English. And so I would go to the First Baptist Church in my town. They had a sister Korean church that they had, partnered with. And so I would teach the women English, ESL, English as a second language, during the day. My children would come along. They would bring their schoolwork. We'd be there for a few hours. It was safe at that church. The women would pay me. I would leave, go to the store, buy some food for that day, and we would do it again the next day. So it was like day by day, George Mueller style at times, trusting the Lord for our provision. But he always, always made a way. I mean, I could tell you story after story. Once I thought, what are we going to eat today? And a friend that had no idea what was going on with us dropped by a chicken pot pie. Another time, an anonymous gift would come. I mean, that sounds like it's just written, in books that you read about, but it's absolutely real. It's absolutely true. When you are doing what God is wanting you to do and you are walking his way, he will provide. Later, after the initial tutoring, a part-time job opened up at my church, and the children's minister asked me to be the preschool director. And the first thing that he said when he brought me into his office was, you can homeschool, you can continue to homeschool. Now let me offer you this job, because he knew that was so important to me. Wow. So I worked part-time at my church. The children came with me. They went into a room. They could do their work. And then later, also in addition, and kind of later too, I had writing opportunities that opened up. I am a writer, or regular writer for Lifeway's Journey magazine, and have written for other, blog posts and other companies like that. Just, little kind of pieced it together. Our budget kind of pieced together through those years, but God always provided every single time. And now I'm actually an online teacher. So I'm still in the home, but I teach online through a platform called OutSchool. So God provided every step of the way for sure.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.